Well, this trip has me heading north out of Melbourne, up over the border and into New South Wales. We're going to two locations, with the first one being Orange in central New South Wales, where I'm going to the offices of Game Council and I'm going to sit my R licence test. After that, we'll head out west to Condobolin to hunt in one of the newer state forests that's just been opened up to hunters. I've been looking forward to this trip, as for me it's a real return to my hunting roots. Back in my late teens and early 20s, my brother and I and our mates would often make annual pilgrimages up here to western New South Wales, where we'd hunt private property, stalking pigs and goats. We had a lot of great trips, some more successful than others, but they were all successful in the sense that we learned a lot about stalking, because that was the first real time we'd studied animal movements, learnt from tracks and traces and signs, paid attention to the time of day, paid attention to the weather, and wind direction, things like that, and really concentrated on our stalking, getting in close. The time spent on those pigs and goats, we learned valuable techniques that would help us as we moved on to bigger, trickier species like deer. Thinking about those days sure brings back some great memories, but a lot of hard work went into organising those trips. Researching property access, gaining access and securing it and hang on to it for a number of years was hard work. Also frustrating was the fact that a few of the properties we hunted on, they often backed onto or bordered forested areas, timbered areas of Crown land or state forest. And back then they were locked up. There was no access and no hunting. And just like these ranges here behind the private property, sometimes when we were out stalking, we'd see animals up there that we couldn't get to. Or even worse, we'd put them up and they'd retreat back in there to relative safety where we couldn't touch them. But those days are now a thing of the past. Thanks to the Game Council of New South Wales, huge areas of public land are now open for hunting. Now, with more than a few hours ahead of me, it's time to put a few hundred k's behind me, and I can't wait to again get the red soil back under the boots and be stalking my old foe, the feral pig and goat of North Western New South Wales.
To legally hunt on public land in New South Wales, you must have an R licence and be a member of an approved hunting organisation. You can be assessed at any Game Council office or with an approved agent or AHO.
Morning, Ray.
Rob, how are you?
Very good, mate. Good
nice to meet you.
Right, I'm here to do my licence.
Yep, sure.
Where do we start?
Right here.
Okay.
Basically what this is an open book assessment that you do. It's all multiple choice and you can refer back to the Hunter Education Handbook, which is this one here.
Okay.
So the first 20 questions are all mandatory.
Yep.
And then you've got your categories of firearms, black powder, bows and dog. Entirely up to you what you'd like to have on your licence.
I definitely want to do firearms and bows.
The open book test flowed easily and covered safety, ethics, target identification and the law. The staff were very supportive and the process couldn't have been simpler. Naturally, I passed with flying colours and inside an hour I was licensed, legal and ready to hunt. So now with my R licence, I've got access to over 4 million acres of public land, inside over 300 state forests declared open for hunting. So all I need now is a few supplies in town and then we're off into the bush. We ended up getting a lot later than expected last night. So we just pulled over beside the road in the forest beside the track and laid out for the night. This morning it is freezing. It's woken up a lot colder than expected and a pretty ratty day all round actually. There's a really low cloud, threatening rain and a fair bit of wind blowing in exactly the wrong direction I wanted to hunt. So instead of losing the morning and setting up camp, we're just going to throw a bit of gear on and go for a quick stalk now and see if we can find something, and then we'll probably pull the pin later morning and go and set up a good camp where we can rendezvous with John later tonight. Joining us later on this hunt would be Game Council Chairman and keen hunter John Mumford with his two sons Matt and Will. For now though, the forest was quiet and we were straight into it. I was just going to say there's a bit of sign here. There's actually a couple of goats straight over there. Solo group there of a nanny and her two kids, and she looks like she's pregnant with another one. One of those young ones would be a beautiful eater though. Well, that's a perfect young meat goat. It was too good to resist that shot, having him there that close. Might have walked all day and seen nothing, so we've got a nice young billy for the freezer. But a good start to the hunt. Half an hour out of camp this morning. Hopefully more to come. This tree here shows some typical goat browse. They've definitely favoured this one. It's all completely clear underneath, and then to the height of their back legs they've eaten it off. They've even been up in the tree there a bit and got up into there, which is pretty typical for goat behaviour. I've seen them up in trees before. It's amazing what they'll do for a feed if they want it.
The aim for us now was to try and find some billies. We saw a couple of small groups of nannies and kids, but the swirling breeze wasn't helping our stalking. After covering a fair lump of ground, the billies just couldn't be found. We were headed back in the direction of the vehicle and an easy chance popped up, so I took it.
Stopped to take the jumper off and 3 goats walking across behind us.
This feral quickly piled up after a hard-shot dead run and it wrapped up a productive morning. The warm sun got the reptiles out, but the goats had bedded for the day, so while the animals were quiet, we moved camp to a beautiful grassy spot where there was plenty of space for John and the boys to join us later. With afternoon approaching, we were off to explore the forest and try and find a pig. Our map of the area showed an old dam near the centre of the forest. With our first day drawing to a close, we stalked in on it to see what was watering and hopefully try and catch out some goats as they came in for an evening drink.
Despite there being lots of roos here, there's really nothing else around. There's no goats around, and it's actually quite cold. It's really chilly. I don't reckon the goats are going to be watering here until it warms up again. We've seen them out in the bush just drinking in puddles and little seeps and stuff, so I think our time's going to be more productive out targeting some of the feed areas, try and catch them on the move rather than wait here. It's going to warm up in a couple of days' time, so this might be a good fallback spot when it heats up again. A lot of old pig sign as it's got thicker in here. There's a lot of dropping around in the big dump. It's old, but not that old. Might be a chance this time of night, one moving through here. Thick and fast it is.
We timed our stalk to be out on the fringe at dusk and the plan paid off.
Just got the edge of the bush here, it's clearing. Sure enough, there's goats out feeding.
The goats and roos fed on unaware, but then became intently focused on something back in the bush. I waited to see what it was, and a black boar stepped out. I loaded up straight away as the boar was on the move and would soon disappear into the long grass. It was going to be a long shot, but he finally paused, so I took my chance.
He's down, I got him. Damn it. He's got to follow up that shot. I hit that pig pretty solid. He ran out, but then pulled up, so follow him up in the grass. Yeah, there he is. He's in the grass, pulled up here. Oh, mate, I'm wrapped at this. That's a good, solid little pig. Got him right in the engine room. We'd seen that pig sign just back in the bush there, and lo and behold, walked straight out in front of us. Had to get through all the goats to get to him.
Late that evening, John and the boys finally arrived in camp and after a long drive, quickly set up and hit the sack for an early start. The morning dawned cold, clear and still, and the conditions were perfect for stalking.
All right, who's taking the first shot?
John's younger son William had the luck and drew first shot. We hadn't been going long before we spotted 2 pigs feeding out on the fringe. They were a fair way out for a shot, but as we planned to stalk to get closer, the wind busted us and they disappeared. Luckily, we didn't have to go too far before John picked up a nice billy bedded in the scrub and the stalk was on.
Well, congratulations, young mate. You've done very well. This is your first billy, I understand.
Yes, it is.
And it's nothing to shy at, is it?
No, he's a good one.
And he's taken it fair game, fair chase on a good little stalk. There were some other goats in there, but you persisted with this one to get a clear shot through the scrub. It took a bit of patience, but you enjoyed that hunt?
Yeah, that was fun.
And we've seen a few this morning, haven't we, mate?
Yeah, we have. And yeah, very proud of William. One shot. Yeah, it's what it's all about, mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, spent a bit of time together and obviously a good result.
Yeah, well, we just got to try and find another one for your older brother.
Yeah.
It was now Matt's turn, and after patiently looking on all morning, he was keen to get in on the action. But this billy was straight onto us.
All right, the wind got us again, mate. Boys.
Yeah, that's disappointing. He was a good billy. You might have taken the title off your brother with that one. Yeah, he's still running, I think. Oh, we'll keep looking, eh? By early afternoon, we had done some miles and finally caught some goats out in the open near water. Matt's marksmanship was spot on, and with 3 well-placed shots, he added to the growing tally.
Well, we've got 3 goats on the deck here. Matthew, good shooting, mate. Congratulations.
Thanks.
At about 200 metres, we're seeing some fairly serious numbers of goats on this forest, and one of the reasons is that that's a nanny and both of her young. And as we're meant to do, we followed up all dependent young, made sure that we dispatched them, and we've got 2 very, very good meat animals here.
Goat meat, otherwise known as chevron, is one of the most widely consumed game meats in the world, and it's beautiful to eat, particularly when taken from young animals. We quickly got to work field dressing, then headed out to the open fringe and got set up for an evening sit and wait. A couple of hours passed, but on last light, a medium-sized mob of younger goats fed out in the distance. We planned a good stalk and came at them from back within the cover of the bush. They fed on unaware, and John, Matt and Will lined up. The boys had some serious fun hunting goats for the first time, with everyone getting in on the action. We'd had some exciting stalks and they'd learned a few things along the way. We'd also reduced the numbers of these feral pests that were clearly out of balance in the forest. Thanks to John and his excellent camp oven skills, the evening was capped off with a sensational lamb roast.
Good.
The hunting in the state forest really couldn't have been better, and the harder we looked, the more game we found. During a break in the action, I sat down with John to have a brief chat on just how it all came to be.
We've been very lucky to have a couple of great days hunting here. And I think it's important that we should just reflect on what a great opportunity we've got here, but just go back to where it's all stemmed from and how much hard work has gone in to get us where we are today.
Yeah, look, it's been a very, very long track to get here. My first experience of trying to get a game council up and running, or the concept of it, was basically around a campfire in a Wanangata about 25 years ago. A group of deer hunters that were sick of driving 12 hours each way to get down to hunt on public land and driving past thousands of hectares of our land.
Yeah.
So when we came back to Sydney, at that point in time I was the state president of the Australian Deer Association. We went to government and made some submissions. It was the Griner government at that point in time, and they weren't interested, quite simply.
Right.
We then went, there was a peak hunting group in New South Wales called Game Con. Mm-hmm. We put a submission through to them. It was written by 2 guys, Chris Bansard and Chris Buckley, and edited by myself.
Right.
Again, a lot of effort for no result. Then 3 clubs got together, the Nepean Hunters Club, the Australian Deer Association, Safari Club International, and we had a third tilt, and again that went nowhere.
Still no luck.
Still a dud. And then 2 things happened. One, John Tingle started the Shooters Party in New South Wales, and the second thing was that Robert Brown started to get involved in the hunting movement, initially as president of the Sydney branch of ADA, later as state president and chairman of the Shooters Party. Now, where we had put in a huge effort and got nowhere. Robert put in a monumental effort for an outstanding outcome. And really it's a matter of you give the job to the right bloke and he will go and get it done for you. Yeah. And Robert definitely did do the job. If anyone that holds an R licence that hunts on public land in New South Wales has Robert Brown largely to thank for that.
Let's just go over exactly what we've got available here now. A lot's changed since those days back then when I was up here and we looked into these forests and it was all locked up. We've got hundreds of forests and nearly millions of hectares, is that right? What are the actual figures?
Correct. It's 240 odd forests, 2 million hectares of public land, and it's available to anyone with an R licence holder. We have some forests that are bow hunting only because we want to try and encourage bow hunters to get involved, to get legal, to get licensed. So the hunting opportunities for people in New South Wales have never been better.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And the system in place that you've got, let's go back to the paperwork system and the licensing system, I was pleasantly surprised and almost shocked as to how easy it was and how hunter-friendly the whole system was. And there's obviously been a lot of research that went into getting that system in place. That's obviously a world-class system.
Yeah, look, it is a world-class system. It's accepted internationally in the United States and other places. And it really was a matter of sitting down and looking at what the available systems were in the drafting of the legislation. And Robert Brown was the bloke that largely did that. We looked at what was happening in Victoria, what the Mountain Safety Council was doing in New Zealand. We looked at examples of hunting systems from Europe, North America, South Africa.
Because you're certainly breaking new ground. There was nothing to go from, was there, in this country?
That's right. We had absolutely nothing when we started here, and everything that we've got basically come from a dead stop, or from a dead starter.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way to put that. And it was a matter of what we knew. We knew that if we were to make hunting safe, that all the research showed us that people were members of clubs and underwent a hunter education program, that was made hunting a safe activity. And that is the two cornerstones of the legislation that was put in place. From that, we developed a hunter education handbook that we handed out to all of the clubs and the associations free of charge, and then developed a number of hunter education workshops, deer workshops, bow, even pig dogging workshops around the state.
Fantastic. So, 25 years of hard work and then building from the ground up a world-class registration, education and online booking system. Where to from now? Can it get any better?
It can, absolutely. I'm very blessed in Game Council to work with some brilliant people. And I seriously do, and you met some of them when you were going through to get your licence. Yeah. And we should get adaptive waterfowl management in place early next year, which will give us access, or Game Council will be managing the hunting of duck and quail in New South Wales.
News, yeah.
That's back after about a 25-year absence.
Yeah, not many things come back.
Not many things come back. That's dead right. And what we believe we can put in place is probably one of the best waterfowl management programs in the Southern Hemisphere, if not the world. That's certainly where we're aiming to go. And in respect of hunting in New South Wales, it's really about cultural change. It's about changing the culture of hunters to believe that they are a legitimate recreation. I mean, I believe that. Clearly you do, but a lot of hunters out there are still very not quite sure where they fit in the picture. We need to make sure that they know where they fit in the picture. Culture of the general community. There's not a lot of acceptance of hunters out there in some areas. We need to fix that.
Yeah. And
we need to fix that by engaging community through the media, through the political process, to turn around how we are perceived, how we're seen, because hunting is probably one of mankind's oldest cultural pursuits. Definitely. And the fact that we're still hunting today, I think it shows it's hardwired in our genes. Yeah. And the fact that I've been out here this weekend with my two boys, that's the sort of thing I want to get done. Hunting is very much a family activity, yeah. And I want to get fathers out with sons, even mothers out with sons, daughters, grandparents out with their grandkids. It's a big country. It's a great outdoor adventure. We should be doing more of it.
And access was an issue. It's not anymore.
Access was an issue. It's not anymore.
There's a big debt of gratitude to Game Council for all hunters, and we just want to make sure that everyone makes the most of it and build from here and look forward to
many good things to come.
Absolutely, mate, absolutely.
With John and the boys packed up and on their way, we headed back out to the open country on dusk to try and honour my promise to find a billy for Bryce the cameraman. When we spotted 3 good billies and the best of the trip so far, he wasted in no time in swapping the Sony for the ticker and loading up. While not monsters, they were the best we'd seen all hunt, and Bryce cleaned up the 3 with some great long-range shots. On our final morning, I tried my hand with the bow. I'm new to bow hunting and it's an exciting new challenge after a lifetime with the rifle. The wind busted me first up on this nice billy, and while the long stalk in on this young goat got me easily within range, my accuracy seriously let me down and I missed an absolute sitter. With the vehicles packed, reluctantly we started the trip out, but the action just kept coming.
Biggs, stay with me. I got 3 out of the 4. That's good going.
We'd seen over 100 goats for the trip, as well as numerous pigs, and removed our fair share. It was great to take home some quality game meat and to know that as conservation hunters, we'd done our bit and contributed to managing these feral pests.
Moroka 30 is the proud hunting clothing and equipment sponsor of Beyond the Divide. Custom designed for our local conditions and uniquely Australian. Ask for it in store at your local gun shop or check out the full range at moroka30.com.au.